In the 5 weeks between his release from the Royals and the night he took his own life, Donnie Moore retreated into himself, withdrawing from his friends, nursing his bitterness in a lonely, self-imposed exile.
My crew made numerous efforts to try and draw him out. We got to get together, we have to talk. Donnie would promise to come by and then never do it.
After 17 years of marriage, a terrified Tanya Moore moved out. On July 18, 1989, she returned to their home, having been told by her husband that there was a prospective buyer for their dream house.
The man never showed up for me to sign the papers. I'm thinking, where is he? And I get a phone call. I get on the phone. It's my beautician. All of a sudden, he takes the phone from me. He said, "You're talking to a man." I said, "No, I'm not." He said, "Yes, you are." And he just knocks the shit out of me. I thought, oh, no. I get up. I go out to where my kids are. And I said, "I'm leaving." And he says, I'm sorry, I'm not going to do it again." I said, "No, you promise you won't ever do it again. I'm leaving." And then he excuses himself. He said, "I'll be back in a minute."
She and Donnie had argued hours earlier. The argument was over. But then all of a sudden he walked in with a gun.
And I look at him, and he looks at me, and he does this. And I said, "I know. You ain't finna kill yourself."
At first, he pointed the gun at his own head, and I think she said to him, in front of the kids, both the boys were there, and then he turned and pointed the gun at her and shot her 3 times.
I said, "You shot me." I said, "I really can't believe you shot me." And I remember looking at his eyes, these horrible looking eyes looked like demons and stuff. And I can hear my car started. And I see my daughter, and I tell her to help me. I got shot twice again. I got shot here, here, and here. And I remember saying, "Help me," and I remember her coming back and getting me. And I remember putting me in the backseat of the car. And I remember her screaming to the top of her voice. And I kept saying, "You know what?" I said, "You need to shut up." I said, "Because I'm dying." I said, "I'm really dying." I could feel myself floating away.
Her daughter takes her to the hospital. Donnie's left there.
Donnie's sitting at the table in the kitchen. Little Donnie comes in the kitchen. They're screaming and yelling. Ronnie's there. And he says, "What happened? What happened? Where's Mommy?" He says, "Don't worry. I'm going to be with Mommy." And in front of his kids, he shoots himself in the head.
The next thing I remember, there's people everywhere standing all over me. And I can see IBs everywhere. And I remember the lady saying, "Who are you? What's your name?" I said, "My name is Tanya Moore. My husband, Donnie Moore. He just shot me, and I don't know where he is at." I kept asking for him. The way I found out my husband was dead, because nobody wouldn't tell me. They had the TV on in my room. And I remember looking up, and I can see him. I can see them bringing him out of my house in a green bag. That's how I found out my husband was dead, because I looked on the TV. And I saw them bringing him out of my house. He thought he had nothing. He didn't have baseball, and he didn't have me. So there was no need for him to live. And sometimes I feel that if I would have stayed there to get my ass whooped for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, maybe he'd still be alive, or we'd both be dead together anyway.